say, man? For those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. We're gonna get to that other shit in a minute. But what I need everybody to do first, man, is just vibe. Just another reminder that everything is vibration. Yeah. It's about that time. You just open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind. One time. See, you know why I love this hat? Because I call this my Libra rising hat. Because regardless of how motherfucking OG gangsta I am, this hat lets you know that I still have some class. I'm a classy guy. I'm trying to keep it that way anyway. Song go. I'm a classic, man. Yeah, man. Say, what it was, y'all. Y'all should know who it is. If not, I ain't gonna tell you. But y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Yourself. And this right here, this ain't shit but some cosmic insight, man. And look, man, I hope everybody feeling good. I hope everybody, let it in them, man. Let them in them, because it's got to be in you and not on you. Understand? And speaking about being in you, let's talk about them feelings, man. Because this right here, this a little something about those people that have the moon in the second house of their natal chart. I smell money. And look, man, all bullshit aside, before we actually go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown about the moon. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the moon. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the energy that comes along with it. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about the moon and the houses in particular and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give y'all a little information on the second house of the astrological chart and what that's all about. Then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination. So without wasting any more time, let's go get it started, okay? So the moon. The moon is the closest celestial body in relation to Earth in the whole entire solar system. So I really think that it has the strongest effects on our mood and personality on a day-to-day basis, man. You know, the moon controls the Earth's tides, and the Earth is 65 to 70% water. Well, your body is 65 to 70% fluid. So what do you think about the effect it has on you? Okay. And, you know, the moon represents our instinctive awareness, our emotional nature, how we feel. It can represent the relationship we have with our mother and the lack thereof. And, you know, the moon invaded, people call it the mind, but I just really think it's about who you are inside and how you deal with things. Understand that? So that means what we're going to talk about the moon and the houses. And so what the moon and the houses do is they can reveal where and how we go about seeking emotional security and satisfaction. And, you know, looking at the house position of the moon, we can really find important clues to any reasons for any perpetual or emotional unrest that we might have been having. You know, and that could take forms of constant changes or ups and downs, or even sometimes, you know, emotional issues and psychological problems, man. And that's just the first thing that people need to look at, though. You could look at Mercury, you could look at the 12th house, they say, but no, you need to look at the moon and see what's going on with that and see what's going on with these people internally. Okay. And really with the house placement of the moon, you can really think that it's in these areas of life that we should really try to make deep attachments rather than superficial and temporary emotional thrills, if we really are trying to seek out a true feeling of belonging and emotional fulfillment. And that's really what, you know, the moon being in the house is going to be all about, man. What makes you feel the best and what makes you feel emotionally validated, pardon me. So we're moving on and talking about the second house. Okay. The second house is ruled by Venus and Taurus, and it kind of symbolizes what the self has to work with materially in this life. Okay. Our possessions, our money, our physical resources can all be found here. It can also represent our desires and our values. And planets placed here really operate in the field of material needs. And also they indicate what we value most. Okay. And the second is our possessions. The 11th is our gains, what we're making. The second is what we're keeping and what we're obtaining and what we got to work with. Okay. This your money for real. So, you know, when we're talking about having the moon in the second house, the main thing to know right here about these folks in particular is that really they just have an essential need for material and financial security. You know, these are really those type of people whose emotional well-being is really often really dependent on the extent of their material stability. And I mean, we're going to look about why in a minute, because I'm not going to talk no shit yet. Okay. But even deeper than that, let me say that, you know, these people, these are the ones whose values are their compass in life. Understand? It ain't just about money. So if you ask what they value, though, it's tangible things. It's things that they can feel. You know, they most definitely believe that a bird in the hand is way more, you know, valuable than 2 or 3 in the damn bush. Okay, man. And, you know, can you blame them? Can you blame them? And that's just what it is for them, because you can take things at face value with moon in the second house, to be honest, man. There's no smoke and mirrors here. So a lot of the time, you know, what you do get is this person who really, you know, feels their feelings and tends to, you know, base their security on, you know, and everything about how they feel is determined by how much they have materially. Understand? That's what it really goes down to. And if I'm seeing a lot of the harder or more stressful aspects going on with it, man, the moon tells me that, you know, it's probably them that had a lot of fucking insecurities going on when they were younger, tied to, you know, direct feelings of not having enough. And a lot of the times, you know, not even having the nourishment that they needed in this case, man. So it manifested in some deep emotional things tied to, you know, their well-being and them having enough materially. And, you know, that's the root of it, but there's so much more that we finna talk about, man. Let me also say, man, and in the most extreme cases, I can also say that, you know, this one can tell me that I just might be dealing with a person who could be a hoarder. This is somebody who gets emotionally tied to their possessions. You understand? they get in their feelings about they shit. And that's just real, man. And another interesting thing, though, I could say with this one is there's a lot of different ways that it could play out. But one way that I see it play out is that the second house in Taurus energy has a lot to do with the things that bring us comfort. Okay. And with the moon right here, man, we become emotionally tied to those things, y'all. So y'all also need to keep in mind that, comfort and health don't always come hand in hand. Understand, so never get too comfortable. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. And, even moving on from that, another thing that I do know is that, having the moon here, it usually points to a really awesome innate talent for business. And even more than that, man, they probably find any business relationships that they have with women extremely lucrative. That's going to be especially rewarding. So if y'all haven't explored that and you have this placement, I would definitely thinking about exploring that. Okay. That's for real, man. But at the same time, let me tell you this, just like the moon is ever changing, and the mood too, because of the moon. But just like the moon is ever changing, understand, and going through her phases, you can always probably expect, a lot of changes and fluctuations going on in the financial situation with these people. Because, the way of the moon is the way of the world with this one, man. And to be honest, all in all, this is actually a pretty awesome placement. I know I've said some things that might be a cause for concern, but to be honest, this is really one of the most awesome placements there are, because, the simple fact that Taurus is exalted in the moon. Understand this? And Taurus rules this house. Taurus, and the moon does her best shit in Taurus energy. Understand that? So this right here, this is going down, man. And on top of that, man, when the moon and Venus come together, let me tell you, man, there's always going to be some form of artistic talent that's usually as a result of this, man. So if that's something, if you have this placement and you haven't explored, that's another thing that, is definitely worth taking a long, hard look into. Okay. And, I've also seen that there could be some financial gain with this one from their mama or, another prominent female figure in their life, man. In some cases, which, I could also see, where if it's not an inheritance or their mama directly helping them in the business, or they don't go into business with their mom. It's just the values that their mom taught them and the way that their mother taught them how to handle money has really paid off for them materially in this existence, man. And really, to sum it up, man, the challenge or lesson with this placement from my perspective is for these individuals to really just stop looking for their, emotional security through material possessions. And really find it in their spiritual values. Understand? Because it is about possessions here, but it's also about what you value and what you desire. And if you're desiring the right things, then the right things will come to you. It's that simple. But, with this one, I ain't gonna lie, it's going to be a pretty uphill battle, to be honest, for the simple fact that, we live on a material plane. And that's real. And when I'm looking at a second house moon in somebody's chart, man, what I really see is somebody who's been let down emotionally by somebody or something that they value, which led to a lot of mistrust and confusion and insecurity. And in turn, it really just manifested in this person who now only values what they can see, feel, and spend, And they don't trust people much at all, man. They're trying to make sure that they're in a position to support themselves, which is really in the utmost importance to them, man. And should they fail in that or, get in a position where they're having to ask folks for shit or rely on other people for help or even face poverty or being homeless or something like that, man, it's going to be devastating to these people. It's going to be utterly devastating to them, man, to be honest, man. And let me lastly say that this one is a motherfucker. So I would really advise you to, never play with or fool with these people's finances or steal from them in any way either. Cause that's definitely gonna be a humongous issue. Cause then you're playing with their emotional security. You're playing with their emotions. And, like Big Worm said, man, you playing with my money. You playing with my emotions. And that's what goes on with people with this placement. So I'm just letting you know with this, man. And as a matter of fact, man, they get in their feelings about any and everything that they might consider as theirs, whether it be something they own or somebody that they think they do. You feel me? But either way, man, even if it don't play out like that, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that, man. You don't have to feed into the negativity. You don't have to let that shit bother you, man. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it ain't about what you do. It's about how you do it. And once you learn to accept that, man, you realize that that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And this been some priceless knowledge of itself, man. Hey, if y'all are interested in any astrological reasons whatsoever, man, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. And also, man, if y'all watching this and you ain't hitting the dislike button, you should be hitting the like button. You know what I'm saying? As I've been telling y'all, I had somebody tell me the other day, they said, man, hey, I want to get a reading from you before you get to 10K subscribers, and you won't be, reachable. And here's the thing, man, that right there was a really big motivation to me. I was already motivated, but even then that felt like a challenge to me in a way, even though it wasn't. And what that made me feel like is, man, hey, right now we're only about 900 subscribers, man. Y'all help me get to 1,000, then help me get to this 10,000. So hey, maybe then I could be unreachable. You understand? And when I'm unreachable, y'all will always have access to me. Understand? Because it ain't nothing but love on my end. And that's when you understand it. Because I'm really, to tell you the truth, I've always been unreachable. I'm something that's unobtainable. Okay? I'm just a part of you. The best part. I'll holler at y'all later.